Welcome back, my friends. I am so happy that you came back. I know I took a week off. Well, that was just like 1 week. I went on my honeymoon. So, you know, it's fine, I think. So, I decided to do this episode about a life update because I know everybody wants to know what's going on with you, Kristin. And if you're not, you don't have to listen to this episode. But I decided that I thought it was a great idea to give everybody an update on what's happening. And somebody's calling me. Son of a bitch. It's my cousin. Hey, Baba. I'm not sure. I have a couple of dresses, but can I call you back? I'm actually in the middle of recording.
Oh, sorry.
Rude.
No way. All right, bye.
I love you. Bye. All right, let's get back into it. So I decided I thought it would be a good idea to give people an update about what's happening with me. There was just so many things I feel like happened not at once, but like right next to each other. So I felt like it was a good idea to put it in a podcast episode. So if you're not interested in this, then fuck off. I'm kidding. This is the Kristin Ann Show, New York licensed social worker and board certified life coach. I just want to help you explore different ways to think. Thanks so much for tuning in. All right, life update. As you guys know, I used to be an employee of the Department of Education in New York. I resigned. It wasn't even a year. It hasn't even been a year yet. And if you're listening to this is July 2022. So I resigned from that position as a social worker not even a year ago. And I've been doing ABA, Applied Behavioral Analysis, and you could go back to another episode where I talk about what I actually do for my full-time job, and it goes into detail of what I actually do at that job. So that's what I've been doing for almost a year, and I have to be quite honest with you, it's been a struggle because financially, when you don't do a case, you don't get paid for it. And that is the hardest part is not having that consistent income. So here I come walking with my tail between my legs. Is that the saying? Back to the Department of Education, trying to get rehired. Let's see if this happens. I don't see why I won't get rehired, but who knows? So that is one part of my life that is happening. I am trying to get back into the Department of Education because, again, the consistent income would be very nice. And when I was telling my husband about wanting to do this episode about like an update on my life, I feel like I'm very open with things, and he kind of gave me a look of, maybe you don't have to like say everything. And I do agree with him on something. Something should remain private. And I'm not saying a lot of things that I would love to say about certain things, but I felt like not a lot of people that do have a podcast, they're at the point of being so successful that that's their main source of income. And I told him I felt like I wouldn't be the genuine person that I want to be out in the world if I didn't really say what was going on. So that's what's happening with my job situation, is that I'm trying to get back into the DOE, and hopefully it works out. If it doesn't, then I will figure something out. So that's number one. Okay. Number two, my anxiety has gotten to a very, very different level. And this is something that I also was very hesitant with sharing because it's one of the most embarrassing things that has ever happened to me in my life. And why would you want to share the most embarrassing thing that has ever happened to you in your life, or the fear that you've had for a long time actually coming true? So I hope that you handle what I'm going to say with grace, and that you feel bad for me. Not like, oh my God, Kristin, you are so fucking gross, and that's disgusting. Because I do agree with you. What I'm going to tell you is fucking gross and is disgusting. But as going back to being as genuine as possible, again, I don't have to share this, but I feel like, I don't know, I feel very compelled to share it. So, my struggles with anxiety go back for a very, very long time, years, years. Like when my parents initially, um, not got a divorce, but ever since all of that, like, fun stuff started back when I was like 15, 14, ruling into 16 years old and like up until now, I've always had anxiety and it's always been linked to my stomach. And I'm sure anybody listening will be like, oh my God, me too. Or I really didn't even make the link. Um, but yeah, it's something for you guys to think about if you feel like that, if it could help you make that link of like your stomach issues, could it be linked to something that's happening within your life, like anxiety, depression? And for me, it's been anxiety for a very long time. But like I said, it has taken a very dark turn, very dark. And I'm speaking about it now in a playful way because that's the way that I could explain it. It's not playful, it's not fun, it's debilitating, it's paralyzing, and it's very hard. So, with that being said, I more recently I've struggled with my anxiety within the car because there was an incident that had happened within a car over a year ago, and I had to go to the bathroom really bad, and every place that I would go wouldn't let me use the bathroom. So I would have anxiety just around that, and that's been going on for over a year. So like of course the fear was behind like not being able to use the bathroom. And like where can I go if I have to go? So I want you to be very smart and I want you to really think about this. Because like I said, it's very embarrassing and it's not something very fun for me to talk about. So I'm not going to really say it and I really just want you to guess. If somebody has to go to the bathroom in the car and they can't go, where would they go? Yeah, I'm going to let you sit with that for a second because it has happened to me not that long ago. By myself, thank God. God has been watching me and saying, you know what? We're going to do this. We're going to do this when you're by yourself. Because why, embarrass you more than you probably already feel? So, yeah, that's what has happened 3 times. And with my job, I have to go to house. That means traveling. That means getting in my car. So it has been very hard to then go to work. And if you go back to one of my episodes about anxiety hacks, I still am doing what I am doing. I take my CBD, I do my meditation. But it really is, I have to be honest, it's snowballing into something bigger that I have to really tackle. And it's a struggle. It's a fucking struggle. It's not easy. It is not easy. If you deal with anxiety just in general, you know what I'm talking about. But when it's linked to something specific, you can feel worse at times. Anxiety in general just sucks. And I am going to be, I've been in therapy before. I'm going to be going back. Let me tell you right now, if you are going through shit or you just deal with some stuff, I highly suggest that you find a therapist, regardless of who they are. Just try to find one. You will find one. Try to find one through your insurance. That's number one. You can call your insurance company and they can give you a list of providers that are in your network. Or if not, for me, I found somebody. I haven't met them yet. I'm going to meet them probably this week. And the copay, unfortunately, is $130. And that's just the way that it is. And she did say that it could be covered by insurance if possible. So we will see. So yeah, does it come, unfortunately, like I'm a life coach and I charge money as well. I don't take insurance. I'm a social worker and a life coach. And it is really unfortunate that insurance companies don't really cover stuff like this, or people that don't go through insurance companies because I know they make it very tough, on the clinician's end. So that's what's happening right now. I'm excited to have you guys followed this journey with me. I've also have been looking at different other types of forms of therapy as well. I will not be speaking about it right now because I haven't researched it, I haven't went to it, I haven't experienced it. But when I do, and if I know it's really good, I'm going to come back and make an episode about it, but I can't speak about it yet. But just know it's something very much, seems to be very much out there, or what's labeled to be out there. So that's my whole spiel with anxiety. I told you about my job, my anxiety. I told you about, starting with therapy again, which I think is very important for anybody that is struggling. And even if you're not struggling, it's always good to have somebody to talk to that doesn't really know your friends, your family, and completely biased to everything. And lastly, I'm going to tell you, if you don't know, I actually launched a merch, which is really cool. And I launched it maybe over a week ago and got some sales, which is really, really cool. So if you're interested in any of my merch, it's called Because You Fucking Deserve It. That's what's actually on the shirt. So there's tank tops, there's crop tops, there's hoodies, there's t-shirts, there's stuff for kids. So first it's clothing. Let's see how this goes. Like, I don't know how this works. I have no idea. My assistant / friend, who is fucking amazing, told me about this website, and she's like, why don't you make some merch? And I'm like, okay, what the fuck not? So I made some merch, and let me know what you guys think. If you follow me on Instagram, it's _Kristin _Ann88, and you can get the link in my bio about how to purchase the merch. So that is it, my friends. I know this is not like a really a specific topic that I usually always do. I always just do like a very specific topic, and I talk about that. And I didn't want to do that. I wanted to give you guys a life update of what's really happening in my life. And right now, present time, July 2022, has been a mental struggle. It has not been easy. But on the flip side, I am excited to share with you my journey as I go along with it. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Bye. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed the episode, please like, share, follow on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and SoundCloud. Also, come follow me on Instagram, _Kristin _Ann88. And if you're ready to take the next step because you fucking deserve it, come take a look at my website on Instagram.